it would be almost an easy call to see, Santino makes sense, Santino in the ladder match, da-da-da-da-da. And then they have Mark Henry go over, right? So you've got Mark Henry in the match, and then you've got Kane, who won last night in the match, and then you've got CM Punk, who seems like a likely bet. You know, the way I look at it is, all right, yeah, they're going to put 8 guys in there, right? So maybe they've put the 2 big guys in there. They put Mark Henry and they've put Kane in there, right? So you can do the spots. Like, they're going to pick their spots in the ladder match, and you'll have Kane and Mark Henry there for those spots during the match. Now, hopefully, the other 6 or the other 5, because we already have CM Punk, so hopefully the other 5 would be the Santino Marella types, or the John Morrison types, or the Miz types, or the Chavo Guerrero types, the guys that can go out there at WrestleMania and tear down the house in a ladder match. Kane and Mark Henry in a ladder match?
Kane for a huge guy. I mean, I've been always a fan of Kane. It's just his character and the way he plays his character is quiet but deadly. I don't see Kane doing a somersault off of a ladder, but for a big guy, he's really fragile and he moves around pretty quickly. I don't know how much.
I could see where they do spots where, like,
against Mark Henry.
I could see where they do spots where, like, you know, Mark Henry would lift a guy up and put him on top of the ladder, or guys would come off the top of the ladder and land in a guy's, like, Mark Henry's arms or something like that, you know, just for the big spots. But my hope would be that the other 5 guys that are in there besides CM Punk are, you know, guys that can go out there and tear the house down and work a good ladder match at WrestleMania. Let's hope, you know, they don't continue. I mean, how many big guys do they have? I don't think you're going to see Knox in the ladder match, but who knows? You know, we'll see what they do with it. You still got 5 other spots, so I can't really say much right now. But hopefully they've got the big guys in there, the 2 big guys that they need in Kane and Mark Henry, and we'll see who else they put in there. During that match on Raw, what happened? Ray hit a 619 on Kane. I remember that. And Knox came out of nowhere and leveled
Mysterio with his boot.
Yeah, leveled Rey Mysterio with a boot, and then Kane turned around and then chokeslammed Mike Knox for the win and the advancement to WrestleMania 25, the Money in the Bank ladder match. And then we had our standard weekly Raw Divas match. We had Mickie James and Kelly Kelly versus the team of Beth Phoenix and Jillian Hall. Boy, they really team Beth Phoenix and Jillian Hall in recent weeks. I mean, those 2 have been put together. Jillian just seems like she's the type of diva that's, you know, they don't have anything for her, but they just throw her out there. I mean, she's a much better worker than, you know, say somebody like Kelly Kelly. I mean, Kelly Kelly's brutal. And granted, she tries. You know, she goes to FCW during her off time, during the week. She's down there training with those guys, you know, and it takes time. But Jillian is a step above. So when you see a Divas match, I mean, Divas matches are your point during Raw that's kind of like, I don't know, blah, you know? Yeah.
I mean, I completely agree. I was actually reading some of the stuff in the chat room.
All right. No. It's diva matches are just, it's like the point during the show where, I don't know, the crowd goes dead and the diva, it's not the knockouts, you know. The TNA knockouts go out there and bust ass every week, you know. I don't know. I'm a TNA fan, man. You know,
I can see your point in matching those 2, but I think in a wrestling fan, WWE divas are just that, divas. You know, they're not
it's a look for
the Fabulous Moolahs of the world in the past, where, you know, I remember, I think it was Molly Holly, and can't remember who else it was, but they had a hardcore match in the backstage. You know, 2 females having a hardcore match, slamming themselves in tables, and I think one picked up a mirror and smashed it across. You know, I would see that more in a TNA. So if right now, rather than seeing it in the WWE. So I think the pretty girls are coming out there showing their stuff. I mean, Kelly hasn't vastly improved since the beginning of her career.
I agree.
In the WWE. Jillian, I like Jillian. I like how she comes out and she tries to sing because it works the crowd. It's like, oh, come on, we don't want to hear that. And to me, that's a good way to really bring some heat to yourself.
Oh, dude, it's a perfect heel, man. JBL does the same thing. He comes out and
exactly.
Jericho makes you hate them, just makes you want to reach through that TV screen and just choke them the F out. You know what I'm saying, dude?
I would like to see Jillian as a champion, as an upset champion. You know, I can only imagine her mic skills every single week, her coming out, celebrating, being happy that she's a champion, rather than just putting it on a pretty face. And not saying that Melina is just a pretty face, because her wrestling skills is just unbelievable. I mean, she kind of reminds me of the old school wrestlers, you know, like the Litas of the world, the Trish Stratus of the world, because you can just simply tell it. She will work her ass off to get over with the crowd and to sell the match. And that's something that a lot of people don't realize is you got to sell the match. And some of those divas do an awesome job, and just some of them are just like, you got to be kidding. Why are they on? Oh, okay, now I know why they're on, because they look pretty.
What about Maurice, man? What about Maurice on the announce booth last night? I mean, ridiculous. I mean, you could tell they were trying to feed her lines from the back. And I mean, she's the type of person that can't talk with someone else yelling in your ear. And don't get me wrong, that's tough to do, man. I try to do this radio show, and at times I have people yelling in my ear, and it's like, get out of here, man. You know, I mean, it's tough. But Maurice on announcing last night was brutal to watch. You know, it was just, what is she doing here? And it looks like they're going, I don't know, Melina versus Maurice at Mania.
I think that's what.
Not a Mania, not a Mania.
I mean, it's you got to understand too. Is a woman's it's a title holder versus a title holder. So that right there has the prestige label of WrestleMania quality. I mean, I personally would like to see maybe a battle royal or maybe like a battle royal.
Did they unify the title?
No, I don't think they. I don't think they will. I think there's enough divas to justify the two championships unless they start making some cuts after WrestleMania, and then they may unify it there. But you've got your draft, so you could send. Well, no, that wouldn't work out either. Because I was going to say them one of them would have two titles when it was over, and then she'd have to lose. Yeah, I think it's probably just more of a champion versus champion, and I don't think
you don't
titles.
Yeah, see the champion. I thought until you brought that up, I thought that they were maybe going to do it on SmackDown. I thought they were going to have Melina go over there and face Maurice and get it over with. But now I didn't think about that. Champion versus champion would make sense at WrestleMania. But then you've got your other divas that they're going to try to put in WrestleMania as well. Maybe a battle royal and another what? That would be a 4 hour match.
Yeah, I mean, you have 4 hours to fill in, so it wouldn't surprise me if that would be either the opener or maybe a follow-up after a big match to put the battle royal. But normally, and I don't quote me on this, and I'm sure the chat room can correct me, but I think mostly in big events, you only see one female's match, and that's it. I don't think you'll see a battle royal and two other females fighting, either or. Yeah,
but there was talk, I mean, Trish, and you've got to get Beth Phoenix on there as well. You know, you've got to, some of these girls that are featured every week, Mickie James, you've got to get them on wrestlers. So I think that if they do Melina versus Maurice, champion versus champion, I think you'll see another Divas match, because they're going to find a way to get at least more than two of those girls on that pay-per-view. I mean, they're just not going to put Melina and Maurice on WrestleMania and leave.
I mean, we may see, like what we discussed, maybe, with Jericho's match, maybe a lumberjack match with the females. We won't see two lumberjack matches, of course.
Yeah.
If they go with the lumberjack match with the Hall of Famers, then obviously we won't see one for the females. But if they don't do that with the Hall of Famers, and it doesn't seem that that's the direction that they might be heading towards, then we might see one with the females. And if you look at it, you think about it, Melina was coming up to ringside, Maurice came in, interfered, did a DDT outside the ring. So that might give a little hint that these two are uncontrollable, where a lumberjack match might be a little bit more suitable towards a matchup between those.
How about Melina's miniskirt last night?
How about Melina, period?
How about Melina, period? How about it, huh?
You know what I mean. I don't mean it that way, but, you know.
No, Jack.
I kind of felt that one in went right in there.
She was looking right last night, no doubt about it. What happened next, man? We had Randy Orton come out. This is where